Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to another exciting episode of Psychology Talks. And today we will discuss one of the one of my favorite topics. That's marketing because that's my profession as well. So I'm very excited about this show today. The reason why I chose this topic is basically because marketing is all about understanding your consumer, and to find out that what are their needs, what are their emotion, and then talking to consumer in their language and catering to their needs in the right way. Marketing is not only about like these campaigns, these ads, it's all about knowing your consumer. What do they want? Why do they want? And where are they to find them exactly? So today I focused more on digital part because in past couple of years pandemic has pushed everyone to move to digital platform, and the consumer behavior has also changed. It's completely different the way it used to be. When we used to go to shopping physically, used to go to dine out physically, and now like everything is changed. You can see that all these activities and are gradually moving to digital platform, and there is an humongous increase in like websites and digital platform, and to grab the attention of your consumer from that humongous presence of on websites and on digital platforms, it's a big task. So today we'll discuss how you can make use of psychology digital marketing. I have invited our today's guest, who is the marketing guru. His name is Joy Abdullah, and he has 30 years of experience in marketing leadership across South Africa, and he has established one of the important insights, the importance of people in success of an organization, because people are the true asset of the company. And again, when we are marketing or delivering any product, we are again interacting with people. So understanding people is the key to succeed in any market. And understanding the continuous change in human behavior allows the brand to connect with the audience in a relevant and beneficial manner. And that's the foundation of people-centric marketing strategy that delivers effective and emotive engagement. Quality leads. His business is called Business. As a strategic marketing consultant, he helps B2B services, businesses, CEO, and their team reimagine their marketing to move their brands from head to heart to of their audience and achieve planned growth. So let's welcome Joy Abdullah. Hello, Joy. Thank you for joining us today. It's an honor to have you today.
Assalamu alaikum, Abreen. It's a pleasure to be here with you on Psychology Talks. And bonjour, good morning, good evening to everybody who's tuning in from wherever you're tuning in. Just to help Abreen, please do pop in on the chat, on the comments, where you're joining in from, your city. And if you have a particular question, we'll be happy to pick it up as we go along this session. Abreen, just one
Yeah.
correction on the introduction. Lovely introduction. My
Yeah.
experience base is not South Africa, it's Southeast Asia. I'm a
Oh,
Asia
okay. Sorry.
specialist. So
Yeah.
before anybody jumps down, because I got lots
Yeah.
of friends and associates all across South Africa, and they're going to be like, you never told us that you're from South Africa. So just to
Yeah.
correct that, to set the record straight.
Yeah.
So it's a
So,
pleasure. It's a pleasure.
okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just reading through and I just picked up South Africa. And yes, you have like 30 years of experience in Asia and Middle East, Asia also, I guess, Southeast Asia. So I'm sure today our guest learned a lot from your experience and from your knowledge, specifically about marketing and the digital marketing part. So before I actually start the discussion, um, of course, you have corrected a little bit of introduction. So just give us a little bit more about yourself, that why you came into this profession, what struggles you faced in establishing yourself in this particular field. So just to tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Sure, sure. So it's who is Joy? Let me break this up because it's a very big question. In
Yeah.
terms of the struggles part, for anybody who's interested, the best thing would be is just pop into my LinkedIn or go to my IG and look at the highlights, look at the featured section. There's a small little snippet called Becoming You, and that will give you a snapshot of the last 3 years. That's part of my entrepreneurial journey in terms of struggles from being a solopreneur to today being a collaborative business owner. So I'll leave it there. I don't want to take up airtime. I want to contribute to what people have to say. But who am I? The Here's the beauty. Here's a little fun fact that many don't know. So I am British by birth, by citizenship, and I'm ethnically Indian. And my family is a mini UN. My wife is Malaysian. My younger two children are Malaysian. My elder two children are Indian. So we have a mini UN Security Council at all
Yeah.
points in time. I'm a simple human being, just like any one of us. And you, Amreen, you're a mother, you're a wife, you're a
Yeah.
sister. I'm a father, a brother, a husband. I'm a human being. I'm a man. I bleed red. I'm an emotional person. Being a man, conditioned in a very Asian community, growing up, and I spent the first 13 years of my life in UK. But that's who I am. To me, honesty, integrity, and I would say reciprocity. That is, be kind and do, not because you're expecting something back in return, but that's who you are as a human being. These are three very important and core values of me. So I have worked across a bit in UK, a lot across the Indian subcontinent, short stint in Islamabad, Delhi, Calcutta, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, a bit in Colombo, a bit in Dhaka. Then I have based for the last 21 years, I've been based out of Malaysia, working across this part of Asia, the ASEAN sector, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Brunei, Thailand, and I've worked across 8 industry, um, multinational to mid-sized private sector, couple of startups across different industry groups. Now, all of that is fine. It's given me a very varied, checkered experience. To
Yeah.
sum it up, I am a sailor who has sailed in many ports. I've experienced large numbers of corporate culture and social structure. And as people can see from my name, which is my brand name, I am a Muslim. I'm very proud of the fact that I'm a Muslim. I wasn't born one, which is where Abdullah comes in from. And Joy is part of my birth name, and that's why my brand is Joy Abdullah. The other thing that I'd like to add over here about myself is it's taken me a corporate journey of working 9 to 5, 8 industries, something like 17 cities, to realize, and you can call it a late realization, but we all have an awakening at some point in time, that something about the way business is done is not working. Now, whether it's the global
Yeah.
financial crisis, it's the COVID environment, it's the SARS environment, if you look at it, you track history back because history tells you a story, you'll find every 4 to 5 years, there's a little hiccup. And every
Yeah.
decade or 12 years, 13 years, there's a big, like you got to go into a cardiac surgery a la COVID. So
Yeah.
2009, we had this global financial crisis. And 2019, a decade later, we had this huge pandemic, 2020. Okay. So when you look at that, I realized something as I came out, that I was working everywhere. When you work, you end up being in a bubble. You don't realize that your environment, your surrounding is, I'll use the word illusion, though it might call in for a lot of hate statements on comments, but we fool ourselves with our designations and our titles and our perquisites and our responsibilities, etc. But when you come out of it, you realize all of those were so insignificant. What was I chasing? What was I doing? And that's what happened to me in 2018. I went through a period of I'll use the word reflection and understanding that the only way commercial ventures, and when I say commercial ventures, I mean social organization, not for profit organization, and private, public, commercial businesses, the only way businesses can grow is when society grows. Because when society has the wealth, and here I mean disposable income, they are able to spend into those businesses, and therefore salaries go higher, and then there's more money flowing into the economy. Simple economics, right?
Yeah.
um, and that made me realize that this was the insight, that if we care for people as a business, as a strategy, if we become people centric and lead that through the marketing that a business does, you are able to connect so much better. Because when an employee feels appreciated and valued at work,
Yeah.
they love doing what they're doing. Some of us are extremely talented. Sorry if I'm doing a
Yeah.
backhanded compliment to self, but
Yeah.
the talented people need appreciation, need recognition. So when employees feel that, they go the extra mile. The company doesn't have to ask, leaders don't have to push.
Yeah.
And when you go that extra mile, that passion gives you that 10% extra. I'm just using a very
Yeah.
small metaphor. And when five people put 10% extra, that's a 50% extra productivity straight into the company's bottom line. You
Yeah.
cannot but make great revenues. So, with that analogy, the thing that I brought in is that my skill set is, having watched marketing evolve. There's been an evolution of marketing over the last 3 decades, to a point where,
Yeah.
the first decade of my career, marketing was sort of evolving at a snail's pace. In the second decade, it probably got into a petrol car, sort of driving at about 80, 90 kilometers an hour, so to speak. But the third decade has been like you're on something like helium and rocket
Yeah.
fuel. Every day technology is changing. In the last, I would say, between 2014, 2015 to now, 2020, 2021, the explosion of social media has just transformed what marketing is like. So that's me. I love what I do. And the last bit about how did I get into marketing, that's a bit of a funny story. I'm actually professionally a qualified finance postgrad. I'm an MBA
Oh.
finance with my minor in marketing. And I went for a campus interview 34 or now 37 years ago. And just for the heck of it, when you're on B school campus and you're having everybody coming and you're giving interviews. So I got called in and I just went in and, I said, okay, let's jump in.
Mm.
Advertising was a minor paper, in fact, in my marketing
Okay.
course. I got selected. And when you're young, I was 25, and you're going to get a job out of B school, you're going to pay off your MBA. Well, you don't look back. So I dived into it.
Yeah.
And the next time I came up for air, or I blinked my eyes, I started in 1986, and it was already 2000. I was moving to Malaysia. And
Yeah.
so I've spent half 18 years in multinational ad agencies, and then another 13 plus years across different industries and on the so-called client side in marketing and strategic planning. And that's how I got into marketing. My core skill is strategy, business strategy. I play in the domain of creating marketing strategies that create growth using people, and it's all there on my LinkedIn. So that's my long and short of who am I, and
So you
people
have
can
like,
find out on LinkedIn. Yeah.
yeah, you have like wealth of experience. Like 3 decades is a long journey, of course. And like as you have moved across the world and you know a lot about, because like moving to different countries, meeting to different people, brings a lot of knowledge and experience about other people and how they behave, how they interact, and especially how they interact with the brands is very, very important. And that's exactly what we are going to talk today, that what is this basically. And especially when we talk, as you actually said, that in last 1 decade, and I would say in last 4 to 5 years, the technology has actually turbocharged the
Yep.
pace of evolution in marketing specifically. And even if we look back only like past 2 years, especially the pandemic, it's like everything has changed. So most of the marketing is now moving towards digital area. So before we move to, like, how the marketing done at on digital platform, just tell us a little bit about that. What is the main difference between the conventional marketing and the digital marketing?
My short answer is there is no difference. And I'll tell you why there's no difference.
Yeah,
Because you're actually talking about mediums. Conventional
yeah,
marketing
yeah,
used to use what we would classically call the newspaper, TV, films, magazine ads, direct mail, etc.
yeah,
And digital, we all know we use from, we get swayed by a lot of social media, but there is email marketing, there's database marketing, and the whole nine yards. But
yeah,
these two platforms have a common convergence point. And the common
yeah,
convergence point is where I play, which is strategy.
yeah,
There, over the 3 decades that marketing has evolved, and this is with not just marketing, but you can take any discipline, whether it's engineering, whether it's
yeah,
banking, any accounting, even psychology, all right?
yeah,
In 60 years ago in psychology, what we know in terms of behavior and mental health, and
yeah,
today, we didn't know 60 years ago. We didn't even
yeah,
have the right therapeutics. But so strategy is the common aspect which holds this whole area of conventional or digital together. Now,
yeah,
strategy has evolved. Strategy has evolved because there are far more tools and access
yeah,
points that are now available. Number one.
yeah,
Number two, the change that has happened is that strategy from being what I would call a helicopter or a earth view. Imagine you're up on the space
yeah,
station and you're looking down at the globe, so you see a part of the globe and a spherical body. That has now dropped literally down to a drone view, which means you're flying
yeah,
100, 500 feet above the target and you're able to zone in on the building or the location and exactly know there's 4 rooms in this house and this is the driveway, this is the back exit. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the fact that the tools and the technology has allowed us to drill our strategy from a big umbrella view down to that little spoke on the stem of the umbrella and actually handle, tweak, touch that stem. So if I break one stem, the umbrella will flop in one end. But if I provide another support, the umbrella will be more stronger. That is
yeah,
what has evolved in marketing. That it gets action. That activity of attaching a stem or taking off a stem comes from the strategy. So there is, in my opinion and view, there is no difference because we always look at the outside. We're looking at the front end of saying, oh, marketing has evolved because we've got all these digital platforms.
yeah,
No, those are the arms and the legs, but the
yeah,
brain, you need to
yeah,
go
that is
back, which
true.
is the strategy.
Yeah,
Yes, the brain has evolved. As we
yeah,
have learned in neuroscience, we see more and more knowledge coming out.
yeah,
If your strategy has evolved, so what you were doing 30 years ago, if you're a 50-year-old company, isn't going to work today. Why? Because you're then talking one size fit all to everybody.
yeah,
And your target audience are different groups of people with different interests where the brand is concerned. So give me any brand. I mean, take any brand that you're interacting with. And the brand would have a few key functions. It might have production or it might have customer service, it'll have finance, it'll have marketing, it'll have this C-suite or the management team. Now, each of these have a different customer group. So best case example, the finance team is actually talking to their banks and investors all the time. They're not talking to the customers or the businesses buying the service,
yeah,
right? So the investors and the banks has a very different perspective on the brand, whereas marketing, sales, customer service who are talking to the businesses and the clients, they have a very different, they are coming from a usage perspective. The finance people, banks and investors are coming from a earnings perspective. The interests are very different, but the brand is the same. How do you
yeah,
marry it? How do you
yeah,
marry it? Back to strategy, back to what do you do in your strategy. The delivery is where the differentiation has happened. You have now got far more effective means to reach your client, your prospect, in a more better way, I would say. And that's where I love coming onto your show. The key here is we are not in marketing, not spending enough time on the behavior aspect. We are spending,
Yes.
and I'm jumping, I know, but I want to make this point. We are spending,
Yeah.
literally spending 15% on behavior, and we are ending up spending 85% on the bells and whistles of which channel and what hack and what will do, because we are looking at quick, short-term, steroid-based sales and revenue and everything. All that does is, it's like if you keep taking steroids continuously for a year,
Yeah.
12 months later, you are bound to have certain lifetime side effects. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So that's it. There is, my view,
Yeah.
recap, no difference in conventional and digital when you look at it from the strategic marketing angle. When you look at it from execution, yes, there's a world of difference. There's,
Yeah.
there's a space station up there today. 20 years ago or 30 years ago, there was no space station. Now people can go and stay there. Astronauts go and stay there for 6 months and look at the Earth and feed us back information about our environment. So that's the kind of difference that's happened.
Yeah, actually, you summed up so well. And I completely agree that there is no difference between, because the digital marketing and the conventional marketing, because marketing always remain the same. It is all about reaching out to consumer, understanding consumer. This definition would never change, because this is all about marketing. Now, as you mentioned, that it has evolved because now we have lots of tools available. Now we have lots of technology available to reach out to consumer in a different way. And as we are receiving or we are having more and more technology, and our consumers are also evolving, and that's, I think that is where the main point comes, that as you mentioned, that the strategy needs to be changed according to this change, and we need to adopt this change, because we should know that now how our consumer is behaving in the market and where is it going. Because if we do not know our consumer, the chances are that our brands will be left behind.
Oh,
And that
definitely.
is where exactly I think we need to keep the same pace, match the same pace with the consumer and with the market. And I think that is how the marketing has evolved into digital marketing as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, sorry
Yeah.
to jump in there. I mean,
Mm,
I
that's
couldn't I couldn't echo more and agree more. One of the things we are missing, as I said, we are missing, is the psychology part. What we are missing
yeah.
here is that there's been a huge growth in startups, people
Yeah.
jumping to do businesses. There's been that growth has happened because there's been a lot of new technologies that has allowed people to come in and disrupt categories. So pre-COVID, let's take hospitality. Airbnb is the best global example. They came and changed the whole hospitality business. Uber
Yeah.
and Kareem has come and changed the whole taxi and ride hailing business. Great. Okay. But hold on. I want to give an example, which is a classic marketing example of what Henry Ford said when asked, why did he make the car, the automobile?
Yeah.
And he said, if I had asked my consumer what would they want, they would have told
Yeah.
me that we need a faster horse. The point
Yes.
I'm making here with that quote is consumers adapt as things become available. Now,
Yes.
technology makes it available and we become adapt. So 2 years ago, a lot of apps and a lot of online service and a lot of e-commerce was still available. But online banking, online shopping, including groceries and everything, weren't really a priority in our individual perspectives that we must order online and have it delivered. So
Yeah.
our delivery, Domino's Pizza is not actually, they're specialists not in pizza, they're specialists in delivery service. They give you
Yeah.
that commitment anywhere in the world. If your pizza arrives 30 minutes late, the next pizza is free on the house,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Another part of it is that McDonald's, we know McDonald's, the world knows McDonald's, burgers, whatever, health and everything, but McDonald's core business and their revenue is in real estate. It's not in flipping burgers. It's because they own every single franchisee location. The point I'm making here is when you're doing business, and especially when you're doing your marketing from your strategy perspective, you've really got to have two critical elements before you do anything else. Critical element number one is define your ideal client and prospect. Okay, again, slight
Yeah.
digression. I move away from using the word customer or consumer as much as I move away from using the word employee, because I feel it's a degrading English word, which means, consumer, somebody who consumes. We're talking about a human being, a person,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I prefer using the word client or prospect for somebody who's not become a
Mm.
client, because doctors don't call patients customers, they call them
Yeah.
patients.
Yeah.
Therapists don't call patients, they call them clients.
Yeah.
Professional services, lawyers call their clients. So there's in marketing, we've been very slipshod about words. You're a psychologist, you'll know this, that
Yeah.
words impact. So pulling back, the two critical things that we need, one is know who you're talking to. Your
Yes.
brand is going to be talking to whom. By know, I really mean understand your target segments, your clients,
Yeah.
hopes, aspirations, dreams, desires, and fears. These are the five.
Yeah.
Every individual has these five as their basic makeup. Every one of us,
Mm.
without hope, we are not human beings. We wouldn't be living. We are right
Yeah.
up there on the evolution chain because we have a brain that allows us to choose and think and do all of that. Every day is hope. There's hope. There's fears because we know some
Yeah.
stuff, we don't know some stuff, we worry, and there's a whole study and section on that in the world. Then we have aspirations. Everybody has career aspirations. Whether you're a 20-year-old or a 50-year-old, you have still career and life aspirations. And then you have dreams. As children, we've grown up having dreams from the time we were in our mother's womb till even now. Even somebody like me would say, I don't dream, but actually we do dream, we don't remember it. So point being here, why I'm so passionately focused on this is understand, invest in knowing who your segment is. And it's not a simple market research, it's not a qualitative quantitative focus group
Yes.
thing. It's
Yes.
actually using technology, using social media tools. It's actually using machine learning to understand what are the keywords, what are the conversations that is happening on specific interest area. Now,
Yeah.
the individual concern plays many a role throughout that 24 hours. So somebody is a father, a mother, a sister, a brother, a vice president, a junior executive, a teacher, whatever, you're playing many roles. You've got a professional life, you've got a personal life. And this is goes into that myth of work-life balance. But listen to that conversation, pick up and understand your customer. When you understand your customer, you understand where are they in their usage of competitive brands in your industry. So you make a list of at least 10 competitive brands. That also tells you another message. If you don't have 5 to 10 competitive brands, you're in a market segment that might not be growing, might be too new. Therefore, it gives you the signal what to do. Too new, you need to educate, you need to grow the market. If it's too few, maybe this is not a market sector to go in. So I'm just connecting the dots as I go along. The second area is when you invest in technology, invest with an intention of long-term use. Don't just invest with a social agency and social listening as a one-off research project. Nothing's going to happen because the data that you get in the first fortnight, it has totally changed in the second fortnight. So until and unless you have a continuous stream of data, and the best example I can give you is if you look at medical studies, so pharma companies doing COVID research, since COVID started to all the variants and everything, if you look at it, the base of the vaccine is the same, but the evolution in how the vaccine is created in its percentages changes. So
Yeah.
you need to engage that bit of research. You're a market research consultant. I think
Yeah.
you'll appreciate this perspective. Doing a
Yes.
quick and dry doesn't give you anything. It's like taking temperature with a
Absolutely.
thermometer. But
Absolutely.
if you stretch out your day after recalls and your focus groups and your quantitative studies and periodically, quarterly, and you have a review session, then quarter to quarter or bi-monthly to bi-monthly, you are able to see movement. You're able to see good, bad, ugly, your matrix, right? So these are the two criticals that you must do to ensure how do you get your brand to connect, because these gives you the gold, the data insights. When you get those data insights, that's when you get your content marketing team, marketing
Yeah.
strategy into play to
Mhm.
build the marketing communication that needs to go out to be able to marry. And there's a couple of steps to do
Yeah.
before that. I
Yeah.
won't, I'll take up too much airtime. Yeah,
No, no, you have already, I think you have just summarized like the entire MBA course. This is small, uh, like your comment, because it's very important, as you said, that it's not that just the one time step that you go into the market, understand, and it's not, it doesn't work like that. You don't have to, you don't just go and conduct like few focus group discussion and then you understand that okay, how the market is behaving. It doesn't work like that. It has to be
absolutely.
continuous, and it has to be like, when I was also working with the company, our director used to say that, like, like marketing is like something, it's like knowing your consumer pulse. Like you should know the consumer pulse, like what is going on in their lives, in their minds, and that is the only way that you can cater to them in a proper way. And as you actually give the very apt quote about the Henry Ford, that consumer will not tell you that what they
No,
want. It's our job, basically. It's like the marketeer's job, or is the company's job, that to provide them the solution. It's our job to understand what they want and then give them the solution in a way that adds value in their lives. So I think
correct.
it's
It's just like going
brilliant.
to school. Yeah, it's like going to school.
Absolutely.
You start from kindergarten and you go to high school, then you go to university, right? So
Absolutely.
if you hit your client on the point where the client understands, because if the client doesn't understand, if the client doesn't
Yeah.
connect, you're
Yeah.
gone. You just have like, 30 seconds to catch the client's attention, given the busyness that we
Yeah.
all live in. And
Yeah.
to do that, you've really got to be extremely focused from a strategy perspective, because that
Yeah.
strategy drives your execution, what you're going to say, how you're going to say, who you're going to say it to, where you're going to say it to.
Yeah.
And sorry, I'm going to do a quick self plug, Amreen, because you said
No, no,
about the MBA course.
yeah.
No, and I'm going to share an example
Yeah.
of a legal firm. So this is something that I do with all my clients. I work in the B2B service, professional services sector primarily. And now recently in the last, since October of this year, I've had some outreach coming into me. So I've decided to take it on. There's a few coaches, different disciplines of coaches reaching out for their marketing. So 2 points here. Point number one is, today, exactly as we stand at the end of 2021 and going into 2022, no matter what you think your business, you are in the business of real estate, automotive, pharmaceuticals, healthcare, fashion, beauty. You can take any discipline that you want. Here's Joy Abdullah's perspective. Your business is all about marketing.
Yes.
As a business, you are literally your own media house. If
Yeah.
you are not making marketing your business, you can forget about step two and step three, which is your service, which then drives your profitability. So,
Yeah.
first, focus on marketing. Why? I have a client close to you out in the Middle East, a little south of where you are, and I'm under NDA, so I'm not going to take names, but they're very
Yeah.
decent sized. Now they've become a decent sized legal firm. A year back, which was back in September 2020, uh, I had a inquiry, if I may say, saying that
Okay.
we'd like to reach out, we'd like to talk to you. And I said, fine, okay. And we sat down, we had a chat, and I was taken on board as a consulting advisor for their marketing. And when I started, I said, your first thing you have to do is you've got to spend $6,000 US one time cost and give me 90 minutes 11 times for all five of the people concerned. And they were really puzzled. They said, what are you talking about? 90 minutes, 11 sessions, 6,000. That's very ridiculously cheap. I said, that's okay. I'm not bothered. Forget about the money. I'm telling
Yeah.
you because it's outside the fees. It's one time. What are you going to do? I said, just come, sit with me for these 11 sessions and do what I tell you to do. So I have my structure, which you mentioned. It's on my
Yeah.
LinkedIn profile everywhere. It's called Triple M. And it has 11 sessions. And I took them through. When they finished, as we were going along, they said, I'll have to use this. Please do pardon me. I mean it lightly. OMG, you've changed our entire business face. I said, that's because you are always looking at it from your perspective. And when you're looking at it from your perspective, you're seeing six. Now, when you look at it from the opposite side, you can see the
Yeah.
nine, you know?
Yeah.
So, took them through 1 year. We did everything. They just followed, the team executed, did everything beautifully. We are in December. In October of this year, the firm has signed two multinational contracts for legal services worth over 100,000 US dollars a year. The
Wow.
point I'm making here is, for a mid-sized business firm, right, jumping into that 7-digit revenue assured by not spending a dollar in paid advertising, but doing organic advertising, but doing it strategically, right?
Yes.
I'm attached with them all the way through till March. And
Mhm.
the reason for that is the results. So the point here is, if you focus first, you understand your customer, you invest in your clients to understand them, and then build what you need to do. And it's all there within you. You know your strengths, you know your services, you build it, you will find traction. Period.
Yes, I mean, what a like amazing story you shared. I would also add that like it's marketing is not about spending a lot of money, not at all. I mean, I would just give the example of Tesla. Tesla spends zero budget. I mean, it doesn't spend a single penny on marketing. Yet it is a synonymous brand with electric vehicle. So it's all marketing is all about knowing your consumer and then serve them the way they want. That's it. I think
No,
that
that's
is
it.
really.
But given the example you gave, there's one element that particularly makes Tesla successful.
Yeah.
It's Elon Musk's personal branding. The biggest asset Tesla
Yeah.
has and SpaceX
Is
has
yeah.
is Elon Musk. So
Yeah.
again, this is a very valid point for those in the startup and in the new business area, even mid-sized businesses, business
Yeah.
owners, chief executives, senior management. The times are gone where you can hide behind media spokesperson
Yeah.
said. The times are
Yeah.
gone.
It's
You've got to come
absolutely.
out. You've got to come
Yes.
out. You've got to talk as Joy Abdullah, and who are you? What are
Yes.
you? What's your credibility? That personal brand has a huge impact in business. Like it
Absolutely.
or not. If you don't like it, better get somebody else to represent the brand. You've got to put a face, a person with the brand. Very
Yeah.
important.
Yes, absolutely. Because the brand is actually something that creates an empathy. And if you put a face to it, it changes the entire game. So that's, I think, brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I do. 20 years ago in marketing, we would say, get into the mental ladder, position your
Yeah.
brand in the top
Yeah.
3 levels.
Yeah.
Today, it's not about it. It's what I wrote in my post just today about this live
Mhm.
stream, which
Yeah.
is, the marketing is all about that last mile, here to
Yes.
here. It's
Yeah.
18 inches. Somebody
Yeah.
can go into my LinkedIn and find out. It's actually 18 inches from the head to the heart. And it's
Yeah.
the most toughest distance for a brand to bridge. But when you
Yeah.
can bridge it, and it takes time, it really
Yeah.
is not something that happens in 30 days or even a year. It
Yeah.
takes a long. Look at Apple today. 20
Yeah.
years
Absolutely.
ago, Apple was nowhere. There's nothing. But look
Yeah.
at Apple today. 20 years
Yeah.
ago, Nokia was the king, right?
Yeah.
Where's
Yeah.
Nokia today? That's
It's
my
true.
It's
Yes.
nowhere. That's the point. That's
Yeah.
the point.
Yeah.
Because
That's
Apple serves, it's not technology that Apple is serving. Apple is serving an experience, a personality, a whole
absolutely.
representation of Apple I users. I mean, iPhone and iMac, all of that is a representation of self. So the
Yeah.
bottom line is, humanize your business in order to be human with your brand. And
Yeah.
then you'll be able to bridge that mind to the heart distance. The
Yeah.
more you reinforce the heart, boom, more success.
Yeah, brilliant insights. I actually love this topic, and I could go
Same here.
on and on. And I can see the passion that you are sharing. These insights is again brilliant. And but I'm afraid that we're reaching to the end
Yeah.
of the show, and maybe we can continue our discussion in the next sessions as well. And if any audience have any question, just feel free to ask. In the meantime, I would just ask that what one advice would you want to give today to the companies or to the marketeers to actually stand out? Because as I mentioned even in the beginning, that the competition has become so tough, and even the websites, the digital platform are so many, and it is very difficult to grab the attention of the consumer with a lot of bombardment of the information, the text messages. So what one advice would you give today to our audience to stand out?
The advice is actually on my LinkedIn banner as a statement right on the top. Make people feel good. Start with yourself. Whether you're the CEO or you're just the driver in the company, start with yourself. First, make yourself feel good. And there's a whole area of self involved in that, which of happiness and self-worth and all of that, which Amreen, you know, and I know, but I'm not going to go in. That's by my tip. When you make yourself feel good, you're able to give and make others feel good. Now, it might sound altruistic, but psychologically,
Yeah.
positivity ripples out. It shows in your body language, it shows in your words. So the tip is, as leaders from companies, as owners of businesses, as CEOs of private sector organizations, any social or not-for-profit or otherwise, make people feel good. When you
Yeah.
create likability, people are attracted, like, the moth gets attracted to the fire. There's a
Yeah.
natural instinct.
Yeah.
So when people are attracted, they pay attention. When they pay attention, you've got that more than 30 seconds to say what you need to say. And when you can understand that how you need to say it, which is on their interest feed, you've got engagement. So
Yeah.
likability creates attention, which leads you to engagement. And that, at the end of the day, is what brings you profitability. These are the four pillars on which marketing works. And the
Yeah.
tip is summed up very simply: make people feel good. Trust
Yeah.
me, even if you do it on day one, the return might
Yeah.
come on day 365, but it'll come. That's it. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah, actually that's brilliant, brilliant advice. Like when the consumer, or like when the person feel good, they feel valued. And I think that is one insight that I take out from your messages. Like when they feel valued, then they will value your brand. So I
Absolutely.
think that's the only thing that they should remember. So thank you so much for the wonderful session. And if anyone wants to upscale their business, please contact Joy. Or if you want to conduct any research, or you want to have establish some strategies of marketing, so please DM me. I am happy to help you out on that. So, and thank you all for joining us today from wherever you're listening, or even if you're seeing the recording. So, thank you so much for joining, and have a rest of the great day. So, bye
Thank you
bye.
so much, Ambreen. Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you. Bye
take
bye.
care. Have a lovely weekend. Bye.